Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Well, welcome to this month's What's in Your Hands meeting. Thank you all for showing up and turning out. We've been doing this for quite some time now, but I know that there are some that are new to the group. And so for those of you, a special welcome and thank you for coming and joining in on improving our community. You all have an agenda, so I'm not going to go through it in too much depth. But essentially, there are 4 parts, and we've just about covered the first one so far, which is me giving you all a welcome. Further to that effect, I should introduce myself since I think it's the first time I'm actually speaking before the group. I'm Justin Outling. I'm better known as Cora Outling's husband. Cora is the person who has helped do a couple of educational sessions on home repair, home maintenance, home plumbing. And so, yes, pink plumbing. And so we share the same last name, but not the same skill base. And so please do not ask me any questions about plumbing or home maintenance. I know nothing, but I can always put you in contact with Cora, of course, as I'm her other but not better half. Second, going to the substance and what's going to be the bulk of the meeting tonight. As those of you who have been at these meetings before know, a lot of the work is done through essentially subcommittees in 3 or 4 different groups. And so we're going to take about 25 minutes, 30 minutes to plan out next steps in terms of events and things that those individual groups are organizing. Additionally, we're going to, of course, as we have at other meetings, have a report out session where the groups inform all of us about what was discussed and next steps. Then, the last substantive point, we're going to hear from Jeffrey, who's going to go through a number of announcements, including a wonderful, interesting opportunity one of us will have with the Greensboro Police Department, should we choose to exercise on that opportunity. Then we'll open up things and provide everyone an opportunity to speak, to talk about other community events, recognizing that there are terrific things happening in Greensboro that we're all a part of. And then lastly, we'll close out and end the meeting hopefully around 7 o'clock, 7:15, aiming to do things a little bit more concisely this meeting than some of the past ones, recognizing that now it's actually warm outside. So with that, any questions about the agenda, anything that we feel needs to be added, modified? All right, hearing none, let's roll into the substance of the meeting. You will see we helpfully this time around have a number of markers for where the different committees will meet. Here's health and wellness, community outreach and engagement, and lastly, career development. The objectives for this particular meeting are for you all to come together and discuss the event or the initiative that's been in the works and you all have been planning over the course of the past many months. At the last meeting, each group gave a tentative date that they're targeting for executing that event. We've kind of discussed it. Those tentative dates are fine. And so please proceed to plan according to that date. Additionally, during the report out period, and something that we'd like each of your groups to discuss, what is it going to take to execute on the event? Obviously, the groups are responsible for pulling things together and executing. But during the report out session, we specifically want to hear what are the things that you feel like you don't have in your small group, and what are the things that you don't have in your small group that you think that others here, and perhaps more broadly in the community, in all of our respective friend groups, neighborhood associations, and the like, we might be able to do to support your subgroups work. Additionally, 2 questions more that we really need to get from you, and that we'll cover in the breakout or the report out discussion. When is your group meeting next? Because we want to do everything we can to facilitate that meeting, whether it's helping you with a Zoom link, whether it's helping you make a reservation for an in-person space. So we'd like to, again, know when does your group plan to meet again before the next What's in Your Hands meeting? And then second, importantly, who's going to be the contact person for your group? So when there are follow-up questions and the like, organizational things, hopefully we'll give you answers about how we can help assist in organizing, for example. We want to know who's the best person to contact in your group. All right, and so with that, first, any questions about what we're going to do in these breakout sessions? Man, y'all are being easy on me for the first time helping facilitate things. So hearing none, I'm going to open up to CC if you have any thoughts, anything I missed?
Only thing is, I'm going to hand out to whoever the lead contact person, a worksheet to help you walk through the steps. If when you are done and you go to do your report out, if you could allow us to please take a picture so that when we have our steering committee meeting, we can look at some of the things that we may be able to assist with. So.
All right. Awesome. Well, please break out into your groups. You'll be in them for 25 minutes. Again, think about these questions as well as what support might we come together and provide to help you execute on your event and your initiative. If you do not have a group, because again, there are persons here who are new, please feel free to join a group. And if you have questions about which group you should join, what your interest may be, any of us with a turning everything around t-shirt, of course me, will be happy to help in that connection. So, 25 minutes. Time up. So each of us, I'm going to ask that one person from each group be the designated speaker. All right. We're going to answer each of the questions posed. All right. First 2 questions. When is your group meeting next before the next What's in Your Hands meeting? Second question, who is the lead contact person? Right, and we'll get your contact information. Next, what resources do you think you need from the community that might help you in executing your event or your initiative? Second, and perhaps most importantly, what resources do you think that others in this group or in our extended network we might be able to do to assist you in your event or your initiative? And so I will begin with health and wellness because they're to my left.
All right, well, I'm Aaliyah Henderson and I'm working with the health and wellness group. And so we've been working on our event and figuring out logistics. So please, group, if I'm missing anything, feel free to chime in. So our event, we're scheduled tentatively for September 30th between the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. time frame. We may narrow that down depending on the event. So as of right now, we have 2 options because we are partnering with the PDYNF Garden, which is off of Peppermill Drive, because we want to do a farm to table kind of food tasting. So we can so one of the things we were thinking about as far as logistics is going ahead and having it in a building. So either here at the library or a peeler to accommodate about 40 people. It can be any age group because, vegetables are for everybody. And there will be a sign up that's going to be necessary for it. So we do have a chef who's already agreed to do the event and cook seasonal vegetables and do a heavy tasting and explain about the cooking process, about the vegetables. And then we can also get the person from PDYNF Gardens. He's done TED Talks, and he also talks about how things are grown and how they get to the table and the experience at the garden, and kind of like make it a nice little seated educational event where people can ask questions. And the biggest thing that we do anticipate would be the cost of the chef. The chef is $34 per person. So even if we do it about 40 people, we're looking at about $1,500 that we would need to have for the program. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
When is your next group meeting?
So our next group meeting is to be announced.
Very good. And Leah, you're the contact.
I will be the main contact person. A-L-I-A.
It sounds like y'all have some tremendous progress. What are the things, if anything, that y'all think that we as a larger group might be able to do to help? If there is anything.
Make sure people come.
That's good to ask. Make sure people come.
Yeah.
And if you know any funding sources, we're definitely open to hearing about funding sources. So, because the biggest expense will be the gym.
Okay.
And making sure we have, and no cutlery and things like that. So just making sure we have funding for that.
Awesome.
And we can get an itemized list of funding.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. That great presentation. Next, we'll move on to community outreach and engagement.
So we're also thinking about doing an event on September the 30th. Would love to actually partner because I think it really ties into what we're wanting to do, which is to tackle some of the student lunch debt that we have in the county. So partnering with some of the schools in the immediate area, seeing kind of what their debt looks like, and then partnering with some of our maybe like local corporate sponsors or national partners to provide funding to bring that down. We were also thinking around the same time at Peeler, wanting to again, like featuring it around lunch, and I think what you guys are doing kind of ties really well into that. So we wanted to also put in a like a lunchbox or backpack drive with it, keeping everything food centered. I think our biggest hurdles also would be just attendance and getting corporate sponsors involved. Other than that, I think it's pretty doable. Also planning on having Board of Education members there. We're wanting to do it about a month into the school year so that parents have the opportunity to talk to their Board of Education members about any particular issues that they've got, and also kind of see what that lunch schedule looks like for that first year, and if they're really feeling that lunch debt issue. So that's kind of the direction we're in right now. Again, we'd love to partner with
I
you guys
think
on
it'd be a
that.
great partnership because that way we can have the food drive for people as well, a backpack, and also introduce children to different kind of farm foods
Absolutely.
and vegetables. So I think that could be a great partnership.
So, because we were just thinking about any local food trucks that were healthier and could come partner as well. So
There's the bar.
perfect.
So do you all, you have a number of people you all are trying to?
I don't think we determined a specific number yet. We are going to meet next on June 5th, 6 p.m. on Zoom to try and hammer
Send
it
us
out.
the link and we can partner together.
What's that?
You can send us the link and we can
Okay.
meet together and
Perfect.
discuss things.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're meeting on June 5th.
Any questions or I guess feedback or?
So what time is your event and what time is the health and wellness?
Sounds like the exact same time.
And what time was that?
We're going to put a 10 to 2 time frame.
And that's a Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday.
So we'd also thought about making it a little more festively, maybe in terms of helping raise money. Talked about maybe a Dunkin' booth for some of the elected officials or former elected officials.
Now, we do have the option of having the event at the PD YNF Garden that would have that space. The only thing would be having the bathrooms, porta potties available, and also tents and things like that. So, it's kind of like a big location, yeah.
Okay.
But we can touch it on Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Oh, yes.
For the backpack drive, have y'all discussed like collection, drop off, and stuff like that? Or?
We haven't specifically, yeah, that was going to be on our next meeting. We're going to try and get in touch with Board of Education people first, just to kind of see what the specific needs are that they're thinking. And again, months into the school year, that could possibly change, but again, between both the backpacks and the lunch boxes, I mean, could also be reusable for other situations. We talked about maybe domestic violence situations. I think the police department has a program where they kind of bundle something up together for children. So being able to potentially partner with that as well.
Well, so I work in a school, so what I will say is they always need book bags.
Okay.
Like they come to school to book bag one day, and then something happens, and all of a sudden no more book bag. But I know a lot of the fraternities and sororities around here do book bag drives as well. So you may think to like just kind of partner with them or see how they execute it, just so you kind of have a model to go with already.
Do you know when they normally do that? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
because we talked about National Night Out being on August 1st.
So I know a couple of churches, they usually end theirs on the first day of school. They usually start at the beginning of July. The Alpha organization, I think they start theirs like in the middle of June.
Okay.
And then I wasn't sure when the Deltas do theirs, but I know they do.
I see you showing up to this here meeting there, Jeffrey. All right, June 5th, Jeffrey's gonna bring us a list of who does backpacks and when, so we know what we need for September. Wait. What we need?
Caleb partners with our neighborhood organization, and they do it on National Night Out, which is August.
One of the things too with outreach is we're going to reach out to Cone, Bessner, Faulkner, and Harrison for their lunch debt balance. If anyone has a way in to help us find out which school has the largest debt, that's the one that will
I think
most
someone just
likely.
said they were a teacher, right?
We're in church school.
So is the lunch, does that come through the school board or does that come
No,
from
it's
Raleigh?
federal. That's federal. Lunch is federal.
So they would need to be down, okay, so if you need, they would need to, if they were down there to ask and have money come back this way.
I mean, if you're wanting a target for school lunches and the increase of who is available to take advantage of school lunch, that's a whole nother conversation. At this point, it is, these schools have high lunch debt, and we've got to figure out how to help them pay it down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can use some resources and I can find out, try to get that information for you.
You're gonna be here on the 5th too?
Just on the Zoom.
If not,
Be
then
right
I'll
with
reach out to Tyler.
Okay,
Yes.
I can check.
And then also any, of course, other churches or organizations, businesses, nonprofits in the area, want everybody involved.
And it's just so we can make sure people need to be on Zoom or on Zoom. Is there a way that T could send out the Zoom link?
Oh, we will. We'll get it to everyone.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And one other thing, is just, in the school, we're looking at ages, elementary.
We're looking at elementary.
Elementary for the moment,
Only, okay.
For the moment.
Got to keep it right size
Right.
of what you can accomplish.
I mean, if we get, huge success and can do more, then absolutely we'll throw them in there. Awesome.
Well, terrific work, terrific ideas, good collaboration.
Tyler.
Tyler Beal. Thank you, Tyler, and Community Outreach Committee. All right, lastly, career development with their report out. I believe Ms. Newman, our fearless leader, is going to report out for us.
Okay, so our next meeting is going to be June the 1st, 6 p.m. Via Zoom as well. And I'm the contact person, Sally Newman. And so we're still in the planning stage as far as when we're going to have our greet and meet, targeting the age group of 16 to 25. And of course, I'm gonna have to ask them, but since you all are doing yours on September the 30th at Pillar, I don't know if we want to consider.
No,
Huh?
That's suggested.
what that
So it's suggested.
Yeah, that's what we're looking to. We couldn't get here yet until.
Okay,
But we're going to check with him.
but the September 30th is the date that you're looking at. Okay, so that's pretty much all we got to thus far. We'll talk about that September 30th date since the two groups are meeting. We know we'll have an audience, but we are still going to do a lot of word of mouth. We got Courtney and Jeffrey who actually work with the youth as well. So that in Raleigh, Mrs. Foster, because she has daycare. So a lot of parents be coming up in there too, running Foster.
Yes, ma'am.
So, so hopefully we'll get a little bit further on June the 1st in our Zoom meeting. We'll have a little bit more to report back to the group with our greetings.
Feel free to come on June 5th too.
Oh, thanks. But I know you will tell us. All right, thank you all.
Awesome, more than great. And then as a reminder, so I know there are a couple of people who are new to these meetings. The kind of project or initiative that career development is exploring is essentially a series of meetings, each meeting building on the other to provide job skills, something that aids in personal and professional development, ultimately culminating sometime later than September in a small job fair.
Yeah.
And so the meet and greet, or the greet and meet rather, will have a component where it's kind of discussing soft skills or the like. So that's where it is conceptually. And in terms of resources and things that you all might be able to do to help, if you know of people who might be potential speakers or the like that have professional expertise in those areas, definitely share it with us. And we'd love to be in contact with them to explore working together. So, all right, so that's it. So that's all of the report outs. That's great progress since the last meeting. And obviously everyone has their subcommittee meetings scheduled, so there'll be much more progress before the next meeting. Now we're going to roll into the final substantive part on the agenda for the next 10 minutes or so. We are going to discuss upcoming events and announcements. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I don't have anything.
Okay. I was going to say, I almost missed it twice, but I got a reminder. So apologies, charge it to my head, not my heart. So there it is. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Jeffrey to provide announcements on behalf of what's in your hands, and then anyone else who would like to provide a community announcement will have an opportunity to do so. Jeffrey, thank you.
All right, good evening. I am Jeffrey Surgeon. Like I said earlier, I'm a dean of students at a charter school in Jamestown, the Point College Prep. I actually have students who live in this area. The school I work at services High Point, Jamestown, Greensboro, Reedsville, Burlington. We service all over. So outside of the familiar relationship, because my mother is Lisa, outside of that relationship, I still have a vested interest in this area being supported and uplifted. I've had students who live in this area who have suffered from home displacement as well as violence and stuff like that. So I am vested in this. But I do want to just give you some of the announcement. One of the big ones, Mr. Outling alluded to this earlier about the Greensboro Police Department Media Matters campaign, which is where we're trying to get at least one volunteer from this group to go and represent this group in that campaign, where they're just trying to bring, partner with the community and media and bring information towards things such as, there we go. Matters such as active shooters, use of force incidents, homicide, shooting investigation, traffic stops, special teams activations, and more. I think what we can do is on one of those sign-up sheets, if you would like to volunteer, we are just going to take one person. If you would like to volunteer to go and represent what's in your hands, you can just kind of denote that on the sign-up sheet, and then we'll look through the list and probably do like some kind of random drawing for the person that'll represent it. That meeting will be on Wednesday, May 24th, so this upcoming Wednesday, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The location has not been released at this moment, but of course, once we figure out who will go, we'll be able to share that information with you guys.
No.
Oh, gotcha. We also have the GSO Peace on Purpose. Yes.
Information on participation with the police. What is this going to be? A summit,
So
a
this
class, a general community discussion? And we talk about active shooter and that sort of thing.
So I think the objective is to make it a series of events where the the police department and the media specialist for the police department can kind of work with the community as far as what they're presenting, the information they're presenting, making the communities more informed. Session 1, which is the one that's on Wednesday, will be an active shooter incidents, police training, police response, and civilian response. And it'll be for planning purposes. Media outlets will need to RSVP, and you'll be able to take notes, take pictures, record during the sessions. You'll be able to participate, have hands-on scenarios where you get to learn what's going on. And then also, as community members, you can kind of share your experiences and have that information put out there.
I'm a volunteer.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, yeah, like I said, I think we'll just make a space on the sign-in sheet to know who wants to volunteer for that specifically. And then GSO Peace on Purpose, they will be having an event Friday, June 2nd from 3 to 7 at the Barber Park Amphitheater. That is that first flyer up there on the table. They'll have food, games, entertainment, speakers, and other community organizations. Join to learn more about the city's Office of Community Safety's Violence Prevention Program, and celebrate GSO Peace on Purpose and National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Both of those things will be done on June 2nd. There's also Dope Dads Organizing for Public Education. They just had a meeting at Dudley High School. I have some people that went to the meeting and said it was very informative. They'll have their next meeting on May 26th at Andrews High School in High Point, 1920 McGirt. I can't never say that street. McGuinn Drive, High Point. You will meet at the front office at 3:30. Again, that's at Andrews High School on May 26th. They'll have a meeting on June 2nd at Smith High School. Also meet at the front office at 3:30. Smith High School, 2407 South Holden Road. And then on the 9th, they'll do all three schools, Dudley, Andrews, and Smith High School. And basically, they're looking for people in the community to train them on how you can support your local school, how you can go in and help, maybe be a proctor, be a volunteer, do tutoring and stuff like that. Show you a little bit of what the teachers do, and then give you some resources if you decide to volunteer into the school and help out. Now, this was big for me because I work with middle school students. And they're trying to figure out life, and they're not very good at it. But Mental Health Awareness Festival, which will be Thursday, May 25th, from 2:45 to 6 p.m. What I have found with these young people is there's a lot of information out here, a lot of new information, new social media and stuff like that. It can create an overload, and then oftentimes we do not take care of the things that we cannot see. Right? We're good about, if you break your arm, go get it taken care of, but we're not so good about that. Someone hurt my feelings. How do I deal with this? So mental health really matters. At the Mental Health Awareness Festival, they will be bringing you mental health resources, health screening, self-care, journaling stations, therapy dogs, line dancing, yoga, games, face painting, food trucks. It is very good to take care of yourself, but sometimes we just get into the place where we neglect the things that you can't see, and it's very hard to see how you're feeling sometimes. So that's the Mental Health Awareness Festival, Thursday, May 25th, 2023. And then, of course, if you can submit any names of young ladies who are 12 to 22 years old for the T.E.A. mentoring program. Turning Everything Around is engaging, encouraging, and equipping opportunity youth, formerly known as at-risk youth, in high-crime areas around opportunities to develop life goals that are higher and greater than they could or would have imagined. The program and events are designed to engage the youth in constructive activities and high-contact mentorship as an alternative to boredom, which is a leading cause of substance use, acts of violence, gang affiliation, and teen pregnancies. So you can submit those names and that information to anybody wearing a T-Time t-shirt. They'll be able to get that. And then the last thing I was told, I got a text message that said, make sure I remind y'all, if y'all are not following the social media platform to help you stay engaged, stay connected, you can scan any of these, and then on the back of your agenda at the bottom, some of you may not be able to volunteer time, but you may have a few extra dollars that you're willing to donate. At the back of the bottom, there are two little QR codes that you can scan, one for Cash App, one for PayPal. different people have different resources available. Some may have time, some may have money, some may have a combination of both. But doing this and being able to put this together, especially at a high level, at a certain standard, does require a certain level of resources. So if you're able to donate anything, there is a way to do that on the back. You can scan the Cash App QR code, or if you have PayPal, you can scan the PayPal QR code and make a donation as well. And then we do always need volunteers. There's a volunteer sign-up sheet. You can volunteer for any of the organizations, or you can just volunteer with Tea Time in general. If you just want to help with just setting this up or breaking this down, or if you want to do some knocking on doors and community engagement, things like that. All right?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. Awesome. Awesome. Lastly, any other community announcements anyone have? Tyler, looks like you got one.
There is a rally for human rights here in Greensboro, led by an abundance of organizations here. That is going to be downtown at, what's that plaza?
The Municipal Plaza.
Yes, that one.
Yes. Cover all the rallies. All right, seeing none, that is the end of the meeting. Again, thank you all for all of your continued hard work. And, reach out if there's anything we can do to support. Awesome.